Hello and welcome back to System Fanimation. I'm your host, Dennis Bithoulkas, and it's time for Saturday Morning Blast Off. Welcome, everybody. Thanks. Sorry I'm a little bit late. Shit happens, like I say, on Saturday. Everything under the sun. So, let me take care of some business first, and we'll get down to it. If you like what you see here, like, share, and subscribe. If you're still on the fence about subscribing, take a look at the video that pops up at the very end here. YouTube takes the algorithms of all the stuff you've been watching and tries to match it as best as possible to one of the videos in my vast video library and pops it up there just for you. And if you like what you see there, hit that subscribe button down below there. If you can, also hit that like button and the share button as well. Also, if you don't want to be notified about when I'm coming on, hit that bell down below. It's a 100% chance that YouTube won't notify you. Best thing to do is go to suspendedfanimation.com. Take a look at the schedule I have up there. I change it out every week. Also, I have all the links to my social media on there and all the links to my pages. This YouTube channel page, my Facebook page, and a Facebook group page where you guys can post stuff and chat amongst yourselves. All right. Hello, everybody. Let me take a sip of my, hot chocolate, supposedly, quote unquote. Wow, that's a bit strong. All right. What do we got going on this morning? Well, kind of interesting, but Taika Waititi has actually just made an announcement on Twitter, and they were actually they did a little video too. He's going to be directing the live action movie version of the Jodorowsky and Morbius book or comic, I should say, the Incal, which if I can actually reach it, I so happen to have. So I have not read it, to tell you the truth. So that's the Incal right there. I haven't read it. So strange story how I came about this is I had friends of mine that used to work at Image Comics when Image Comics was located in Berkeley, California here. And they said, hey, you want to come in one day? There's a group of us. And they go, and you want to help us clean and reorganize some stuff because our storage room needs to, to be reorganized and all that stuff. They were moving some stuff and whatnot. It's like, yeah, sure. So we came in, we worked the entire day. I mean, worked our asses off, cleaned out a whole bunch of storage areas and all that kind of stuff. And they're like, okay, see those shelves over there? I'm like, yeah. And they're like, well, whatever you can carry, that's yours. You can take it with you and make off with it. And I happen to have my semi good sized backpack. I actually ripped the shit out of that backpack from all the stuff I took. This happened to be one of the things I took. So, what is it about? I don't know, to tell you the truth. I would really like to read it because I just haven't had the chance to. Mobius, of course, has some beautiful artwork. He always does. Jodorowsky, same as well. That's actually probably not one of the better things, but as you can see, there is some interesting artwork up there, as per usual. So, excuse me. I just swallowed the wrong way completely. Wow. So yeah, I'm looking forward to anything really that Taika Waititi does anyway. And then also, of course, he's doing something from Mobius, and Jodorowsky, of course, did the entire Dune tome. There's actually a documentary out there called the Jodorowsky Dune, and it's just basically about him putting together that book, this gigantic tome of nothing but it's a Dune comic is really what it is. So oh, I always love Mobius's art too, Stanley. I mean, it's great stuff. Yeah, I was going to look it up on Wikipedia as well, Stanley. I just didn't have the chance to. Like I said, there was a lot of crazy shit that was going on this morning. So, yeah. So there we go. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Also, what I'm looking forward to is we had a new casting. Gael Garcia Bernal has been cast as the lead in the Disney Plus Marvel Halloween. I don't know if it's a series or if it's going to be a one-off or what it's going to be, but Werewolf by Night. So Werewolf by Night, I do know, is a Marvel comic of basically a guy who turns into a werewolf by night and he becomes a superhero. It is really kind of an anti-hero, if you will. And there's been two different versions of them. One, of course, a white guy that was in the 70s, and then a Latino guy who, of course, Bernal Garcia is going to be playing. And after having seen the Eternals, which, yes, I did go and see the Eternals last night, I broke down and saw it. The very end scene, which I will be talking about on Tuesday. I'll probably talk about it tomorrow too, during a little bit during spoiler alert. But I'm fairly sure what they're doing is they, being Marvel, are working towards a Midnight Suns, either a series or a movie or whatnot, because of a lot of stuff that's going on at the moment. So yeah. Stanley says, if Taika does it, I have hope that it'll be better than Valerian. Well, Valerian wasn't really Mobius. That was I have Valerian around here too, someplace. I don't know where, but Valerian wasn't done by Mobius. That was somebody else. And yeah, unfortunately, Luc Besson, I had to actually look down at a DVD that I had there. Luc Besson kind of screwed Valerian. He really did. And I mean, yeah, even though it was one of his favorite comics as a child, I just don't think he's up to snuff anymore. So, yes, Mr. Roboto, Werewolf by Night is a supernatural hero or anti-hero, if you will. Okay. Thanks, Philip, for promoting somebody else's podcast during mine. Stanley says Valerian looked good, but you didn't care about the character. Yeah, exactly. You really didn't care about the characters. So the reason why I was looking down was, for Luc Besson, was I actually had just recently bought The Big Blue. This was kind of my white whale in DVDs. They never released it in the United States on DVD. And so I actually had to hunt this shit down. Jean Reno's in it, Rosanna Arquette. Who the fuck else is in this movie? There's a lot of people in this movie, and it's probably my favorite Luc Besson movie, and I've never been able to buy it. So I recently had acquired that, so that's why I was looking down at that to find out what Luc Besson's name was, because for some reason it wasn't catching. Excuse me. So we also got a new trailer for the Book of Boba Fett, which is premiering on Disney Plus on December 29th. And yes, I am going to be covering that. So yeah, it looked good. It didn't look fantastic, but it looked good. And of course, anything by Filoni and Favreau, I'm definitely going to be looking at. So, oh, okay, Philip. That's what it is. It's still, yeah, I know what you're talking about. They're putting their HBO Max has been doing that with the Batman serials or something like that, and it's just, I fell asleep during the first episode because it's just just talking, and yeah, it doesn't do anything for me. So yeah, I wasn't born in the 1930s, so radio serials just don't do it for me. They really don't. Exactly, Stanley. That is right. The best thing on right now is SBO. Pen Farm Girl says it has to at least be good. It can't be the one to break their streak. What are you talking about? Are you talking about Marvel, or what are you talking about, Pen? I don't know which one you're talking about. There's too many things going on at the moment. So speaking of which, Daniel Dae Kim is going to play Fire Lord Ozai in the Netflix live action series Avatar: The Last Airbender. That's right. They were going to try for a live action Avatar: The Last Airbender, quite honestly, and I'm all for it. Are you talking about the Book of Boba Fett, Pen? Yeah. Okay. I don't think it's going to be horrible. It was the trailer didn't leave me wowed or anything like that, so it was okay. It wasn't just normally, it's bigger than that, but this one was just kind of like, all right. But going back to Daniel Dae Kim playing Fire Lord, the live action Fire Lord Ozai, I'm kind of interested in seeing that. I want to see how they're going to do this. Um, isn't that set in high? No, it's not set in high school, Mr. Roboto. Avatar: The Last Airbender is not set in a school. It's a sprawling adventure across multiple kingdoms, and it's pretty damn good. At least the animated series was. The only thing that I'm kind of worried about with this whole live action series, the original creators of Avatar: The Last Airbender left in the middle of production. They had some creative differences with the showrunner and they left. The showrunner's still there, but the original people who created the series have left. And that kind of worries me at the moment. Yeah. I agree with you, Stanley. I'm kind of scared about that one too. When you have the original, creators leave over, quote unquote creative differences. Yeah. It's not set in a high school, Mr. Roboto. That would change the entire dynamics of the entire thing. So, no, they're not doing it in high school. And I haven't heard anything like that. You must be getting your news from, one of those other sites that make up their shit. So we did also get a trailer for Morbius, which is going to be hitting theaters in on January 28th. Um, all I can say this is tired of Jared Leto getting film credits because, dude, I mean that was some bad acting, and those are the best takes they got out of all of that. Because I mean, just from the trailer alone, I was just like, wow, your acting really sucks, man. I mean, really sucks. Really, really, really sucks. Um, the CGI didn't do anything for me. And then, of course, all the callbacks to Venom and, you even had Michael Keaton in there, supposedly as the Vulture. So I guess this takes place in the MCU, which looks like they're trying to set up a Sinister Six thing going on. There's just too many things that are going on at the moment. So yeah. You want to watch the trailer, Pen? Yeah, go and watch the trailer. So I saw it both at online and then I saw it in the theater last night as well. And I was not impressed in the theater either. Um, so just a sidebar again. So going back to the theater for the first time in a year and a half probably about 2 years since I've been in the theater. And I just remembered I really don't like going to theaters. I didn't like going beforehand and I don't like now. I want shit to be streamed. I will pay that $30 to watch your movie streaming as well as, as long as I get to own a digital copy after that $30. Mainly because of other people in the theater. Other people in the theater annoy the fuck out of me. Also, depending on what theater you go to, there could be sound quality issues, there could be visual quality issues, things of that nature. I know what my visual and my audio quality are. They're consistent when I'm here at home. Yeah, I'm still a big proponent of streaming your shit out there. Stream your movies, and I'm not for theaters anymore. Fuck theaters, as far as I'm concerned. Hey, Commander. Silver says, in my opinion, it's always smacks of desperation when when right from the start, you do call outs to other more famous characters. Yeah, yeah. I know what you mean, Silver. That's going back to Morbius. Morbius was trying to make a name for itself in some way by equating its worth to other characters that are already bigger and well known and established and better. You're gonna have to wait, Stanley, until Tuesday to find out what that review is. I'll do a review on Tuesday of the Eternals. I'll just say right now, I really fucking hate going to movie theaters. Hate going to movie theaters. So Penn says I saw Dune in a theater. There were only about a dozen people in it, so it's just fine. Yes, we had about I would say roughly about 30, maybe 40 people in the theater I was in last night. But still, that was enough to, really hate people in movie theaters again. So that's okay, Penn. That's I can speak just as fast. So yeah. Uh, that's fine, Stanley. You can watch the replay of it, and you can always comment in the chat, or you can come in tomorrow. On I haven't posted it yet, but I'm most likely doing a spoiler alert tomorrow. So. Silver says I was never a fan of Marvel's foray into the cosmic, sadly. Um, so it's kind of funny. I was having a conversation about this yesterday with a coworker of mine, and this isn't a side. It's not a review of the Eternals or anything like that. So the Eternals was created by Jack Kirby, and Jack Kirby had worked at Marvel. He had been screwed by Marvel. He went to DC. He created the whole Apocalypse and what's his face, Dark Side, and all of those guys. So that cosmic entity in DC. DC screwed him, so he went back to Marvel, started doing the Eternals, and this was near the end of his career. And again, Marvel screwed him again, but still, it's not considered his best work. And it's always one of those bastard stepchildren of Marvel that is best left forgotten. There are some parts that are picked up here and there, but for the most part, a lot of people just kind of go, yeah, the Eternals happened back there. So, yeah. That's about it. Yeah. So that's all I'm going to say about that. We got a Stranger Things season 4, another teaser trailer that dropped this morning. I posted that up on the Facebook page. And okay, so they're in California now. Everything's happening in California. It looked interesting enough, but I don't know if I don't know, man. They need to start ending it. I mean, the kids are getting old. I mean, at this point, the kids are going to have their own kids, and yeah. So I mean, no, I have super chats on, Mr. Roboto. I see it down below there. Yeah. Apple Crow says, and I just wanted to say thank you, by the way, for the super chat, Mr. Roboto. I forgot to thank you for that as it was going by. I was actually in the middle of saying something, I remember, and I just kind of blanked on it. Apple Crow says, on Marvel, the Guardians came in so good, it makes me want to go back and read the comics. The original Guardians of the Galaxy, yes, I like the original Guardians of the Galaxy. Well, not the original from the 60s, but from the 90s. For me, the original Guardians of the Galaxy is a 90s version, not the 60s version. Yeah. Are the Stranger Kids college age? Not yet. They are still in high school. It looks like they're getting ready to graduate high school at this point. I mean, Mike, the original kid who went into the down below, he's like sprouted up. He's like 6 feet tall now. Yeah. Anything is better than Inhumans, Stanley. Anything is better than the Inhumans. Inhumans is the lower rung of all the Marvel series. So I found this kind of funny. I've been watching, and I've told you guys this before. I'm watching the series, the Mighty Ducks Game Changers, which is on Disney Plus, and Emilio Estevez was on there, of course, and Lauren Graham and all that stuff. And I like it. I mean, it's a good series. It was a lot of fun, and I guess one of your wholesome Disney shows or whatnot. And so they're doing a season 2, but Emilio Estevez won't be coming back. And first they're trying to say it was creative differences and all this stuff. Well, now it actually comes out that it's because of vaccine mandates. And so what Disney put this out a long time ago is that anybody working on Disney films, Disney studios, anything like that, there's called a Zone A. Zone A is where the actors are and anybody who's interacting with the actors. So that will be your film crews and all that kind of stuff. I just realized this was not in the right position here, and my microphone is slowly but surely heading downward. There we go. That's much better. And so anybody within that zone needs to be vaccinated. And Emilio Estevez refuses to. So guess who's out of season 2? That's right. Season 2 will be Emilio Estevez less. Yes, there we go. Because of vaccine mandates. So, yeah. Silver says, I must be the only person on the planet that wasn't all that keen on Guardians. I don't know why. Maybe it's because of Chris Pratt. Chris Pratt is the one thing I don't like about Guardians of the Galaxy. I just don't like the person. Yeah. And unfortunately, he's in everything right now, which makes it hard to watch anything. Yeah. Stanley said I couldn't even finish watching the Inhumans. No one could finish. Well, actually, I did finish watching the Inhumans series. It was pretty bad. Yeah. I think I fast forward through a good portion of it though. What else we got here? Stanley says I heard the game is good without Chris Pratt. Yeah, I've heard the same thing. I'm waiting, and I'm not buying any video games until I can get a PS5 without having to go through a scalper. When I can walk into a store and buy a PS5, then I'll think about buying a video game from, again at this point. But until then, no, not buying shit. What else do we have here? We got a trailer for a new Roland Emmerich film, and guess what? He's trying to destroy the Earth once again. Big surprise, but yeah, Moonfall with Halle Berry, and yeah, it's just horrible as it sounds. It's supposed to be Donald Sutherland's in it, and of course he's the old dude who says, the Earth's gone through 3 different extinction events before, and this is going to be the 4th one. And it's supposed to be because the moon is crashing into the Earth, or parts of the moon are crashing into the Earth, and of course we Earthlings need to stop it. And yeah, that's what the whole premise of the movie is. That's why it's called Moonfall. It looks as ridiculous as it sounds. It looks like it belongs on the Sci-Fi Channel or Sci-Fi Channel. It's pretty bad. Pretty bad. Stanley says I always wait for a discount. I'm an old cheapskate. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff right now that I could buy discounted, but again, since I don't have a PS5, fuck it. Apple Crow says there'll still be scalping PS5s when the PS6 pre-orders go up. Yeah, exactly. No, it's kind of funny because Walmart is even selling PS5s right now at scalper prices. So you can go in and buy a bundle. Well, it's not even really a bundle. It's an extra controller, and sometimes they throw in a game, and they're trying to do it for over $1,000. They're trying to do like $1,100. And the game is only the console itself with one controller is $500. So no, and a controller costs $50. So I mean, yeah. Yes, MJ, the moon is actually leaving the orbit of the Earth very, very, very slowly. Very slowly. Like in a couple of thousand years, it'll be you know, a couple 100 feet away from the Earth. But yeah, you are correct. It is moving away slowly, as is everything in a orbit. You lose, momentum. Of course, you start moving out. And, yeah, even the Earth is moving away from the sun slowly, very, very slowly. Stanley says, so it sounds like a combination of Catwoman and The Day After Tomorrow. Possibly. Yeah. It's actually more along the lines of Gravity and The Day After Tomorrow is really what it is. If you want to put two shitty movies together. No, actually more Gravity and 2012. There we go. There's the two shitty movies that I wanted to put together there. Apple Crow says, I remember when I was hunting mine, QVC had a bundle offer that stayed in stock longer than any other because it was $9.99 for the console and $5 worth of plastic crap. Yeah, exactly. It's honestly, it's not worth it. If you can't walk into a store and buy it, why bother? I mean, this whole thing of trying to hunt for it online or staying up until 3 o'clock in the morning because there might be a drop or something like that, that's bullshit. And and then also the bots are just going to get them anyway, so it's not worth it at that point. Apple Crow says, Dennis and I come together on calling Gravity out for being shit. I saw that shit in IMAX on a real IMAX screen too, and it was very pretty, but good God, that movie sucked balls. That was a shit movie. I mean, and talk about putting NASA in a bad light. It was like every other shit failed her, the redundancies upon redundancies that NASA does. And I don't think NASA participated in that one either. I really don't. Yeah. Stanley said, I like Gravity for the visuals. I'm not saying that's good though. Yeah, the visuals are awesome. I mean, that's Cuarón, right? Who did that? Alfonso Cuarón, or yeah, I believe he's the one who did that. And he's really good. I mean, he's gotten better at directing stuff. I mean, he's no Dennis Villeneuve, who just doesn't seem to learn from any of his mistakes and just keeps making the same monotonous movie over and over and over again. That's pretty to watch, but just completely devoid of any kind of character building. But I digress. Enough about Dune. Hey, Raymond. Which do you think is the most space movie? Like, which one does the best with physics? Oh, Mission to Mars, tell you the truth. Mission to Mars. When Tim Robbins goes outside of the capsule there and he gets pushed away enough from the capsule where he can't make it back, and his wife is going to go and get him, and she's putting herself in danger, and she's putting the mission in danger, and he's like, no, I'm not going to let you do it, and because you don't have enough thrust in order to get back, because she's got her harness on the jetpack, whatnot, and he goes, you don't have enough fuel to get us both back. And so he makes the decision and actually pops off his helmet and freezes. Of course, he wouldn't die that quickly in space. It would be pretty fucking horrifying, but still, he wouldn't just freeze like that. So, and luckily they didn't show that. I mean, if you really want to get technical as to what is the most accurate one, The Expanse. Because The Expanse, they actually researched all this shit, and they did exactly what is going to happen in space. So the whole thing with Naomi in last season, season 5, where she's having to hold her breath to get through and coming back, and when she actually jumps out of the airlock and makes it to the other airlock and holding, by exhaling all her breath out, which is what you're supposed to do, so your lungs don't freeze. Yeah, that one's actually probably the best. But for movie wise, I would give Mission to Mars a good kudos on that one. Babylon 5 was actually an early one for me as well, because I think it was one of the first seasons. I think it was, yeah, it was season one. I want to, yeah, it was episode one, as a matter of fact. And this is what kind of hooked me on the series, was someone kills someone on the station and they dump the body out the airlock to try and hide the evidence, but the body just kind of orbits the space station, because whenever you have two different bodies, the larger body becomes the I guess you could say the planet, if you will, and the smaller body orbits the planet. So the smaller the object, the small object will orbit the larger object. And that was actually one of those things I was like, fuck, someone actually gets it. Physics. Yeah. When does the season 6 of The Expanse come out? Stanley, there's a website. No, sorry. It's up there. It's December 10th, if I remember correctly. I think that's what it is. Let me go take a look at suspendedfanimation.com, and I can tell you exactly when that is, because it's up there on the future stuff. And yes, The Expanse Season 6 is on Amazon Prime, December 10th is when that's going to be. Yep, this year. I will be covering it because it is the final season. I think they're dropping the first, and it's only 6 episodes, by the way. So they are dropping the first 2 episodes on the 10th, and then every Friday thereafter until they're done. How'd they make that so fast? So they have this time machine that they go. I'm kidding. They actually started production pretty early on it, Stanley. They knew it was going to be the last year, and they only had 6 episodes they were doing for the season, for the final season. Raymond says body would settle into a stable orbit in a day. Exactly, Raymond. And that was the whole thing. Is the body had been killed, I believe, a couple of days prior. So yeah, it was orbiting the station, and that's what I thought was kind of funny. Yep. Mr. Roboto says, if you let air out in space, wouldn't you explode via a vacuum? So she didn't let it out in space. She let it out in the airlock before she blew the airlock. So if you watch her, she kind of breathes in, and she does the rapid breathing, and then exhales all the air and then holds it, because what happens is when you're out in space in a vacuum, shit expands, is what happens in a vacuum. So if you have air in your lungs, the air in your lungs will expand and pop all the alveoli that are in your lungs, and you bleed to death. Well, first of all, your lungs would burst, and that would end up being your death right there. So physics, you learn physics here as well. Raymond says, I thought they said they were. They're just going to take a hiatus, or was that code? I think that was just code. Yeah. Well, this is the end of the book, is what's happening. So this is the end of the first series, I guess it is. Because I think, if I remember correctly, someone told me that the next series of books jumps ahead like about 40, 60 years, somewhere like that. And I think that's what they're going to end up doing, is they're going to end up doing the next set of books. Yeah, Stanley. So yeah, it makes a 20 to 30 year jump after book 6. There you go. So there you go. That's gonna. Silver says, "Oh, that sounds pleasant." Yeah. It's one of those things you learn in both biology and physics. It's because it always comes up. Someone goes, "Well, what happens in a vacuum? Can you hold your breath in space?" It's like, no, your lungs will pop, you'll die. That's why the whole Tim Robbins death in Mission to Mars is just kind of weird. That he freezes, to death. That's the only thing I call suspect in that because your blood boils again because of no pressure in space. It's a vacuum. So yeah, your blood literally boils and does that kind of stuff. So that's why Naomi had her eyes. That's why she shut her eyes too. So her eyes didn't freeze. One, she aimed herself where she needed to go, exhaled all her air, and then blew the airlock so that she would go flying towards the other airlock so she can get in enough time and repressurize. But yeah, so her eyes wouldn't freeze, but she broke a lot of blood vessels in her eyes. Her face had a lot of blood vessels that had broken as well. So a lot of things like that. I am not an eternal, but thank you for the $2, Mr. Roboto. Applecrow says Foundation continues to be two shows spiraling apart, on one part getting better and better and the other part nosediving. Stanley says, I still like the movie Outland where people violently explode into goo. Yeah, that's always great for a good visual effect and all that stuff. And just so you know, I'm sure NASA knows really what happens out there and just hasn't informed anybody. I'm sure they've done experiments on animals out in space to see what happens, and just haven't let the public know because, again, doing animal experimentation in that kind of way, um, kind of questionable, right? Yeah, so I'm fairly sure they know how people would die in space if they didn't have any kind of protection. So Silver says it just gets worse, doesn't it? Yeah, it does. There's all kinds of bad stuff that happens without a vacuum around you. Without atmospheric pressure, bad shit happens. Yeah. That's why even going up to Everest, people who go up to Everest without oxygen and stuff like that, even just one time, a lot of people get fucked up physiologically, just because I believe you're at half an atmosphere of pressure up there. And so, yeah, there's a lot of fucked up stuff. The Sherpas, on the other hand, that are up there, they are already acclimatized and they've actually, they have families up there and stuff like that. So their bodies have actually evolved to be a bit more hardier at that level. It's a weird thing, man. Yeah, a lot of people, there's studies that go on up there. So Raymond says one thing that doesn't get mentioned about the Expanse, the crew is probably in their 60s. The life expectancy is like twice as long in the future. Oh yeah, yeah. Stanley says I think they had accidents in a vacuum chamber already. Yeah, they've had accidents in vacuum chambers as well. But having yeah, no pressure plus the the temperature and all that kind of stuff, where there's no temperature, all that, yeah, everything adds up. You never know what's gonna get you, out in space. So, yeah. I gotta watch my time too because I gotta get going here fairly soon. Have you seen Everest, the movie? It was good, but sad I haven't. I, know of the book, that it was based on, but I have not watched the movie. Alright, what else do I have here? Summer of 2022, Lightyear comes to movie theaters. So this is the Pixar movie based about Buzz Lightyear, like it's supposed to be the real Lightyear, if you will, the human that it's supposed to be based on, that the Buzz Lightyear dolls are based on. Anyway, and again, Chris Pratt is voicing the character, which is why I don't want to see that one in theaters. I can wait for that one to come out on Disney Plus. Thanks, Mr. Roboto. Uh, yeah. Uh, Apple Crow says yes. If Apple TV, yes, it's worth watching, but otherwise, no. Yeah. Uh, you're going to the movies again, is what Philip asked. I went last night to the Eternals. I broke down and I saw it. I was in my own seat, by the way. So the theater near me, they have rumble seats. They're called D box seats. I call them D bag seats. You pay extra, and they actually move with whatever the story is going on. So they rumble and whatnot. And they had one that was just by itself. And there was nobody sitting behind. The next person was like way the fuck away from me, and then there was like about 4 seats to the on my other side that had nobody there. So that's why I went there. Silver says, "I'm not sure what to think about that. The trailer looks beautiful, though." Yeah. Apple Crow says, "Yeah, Empire steals the show for sure. If it had problems with the ending of the last episode." Uh, my deepest sympathies. Are you talking about the movie that I went to, or yeah? Well, um, okay. So, what else do I have on? Oh yeah. So Black Panther 2 Wakanda Forever has shut down production, or they're going to be shutting down production after Thanksgiving. They're trying to shoot as much as possible without Letitia Wright, because remember, she got injured back in August on set, and about late August, she got injured in an onset accident. And it's a lot more severe than what we were led to believe. So they are going to be shutting down production from Thanksgiving until 2022. So they're shutting down for a month and a half because they can't film anything more without her at this point. And speaking of problematic people, Letitia Wright, some of the shit she's been saying on Twitter too, that I'm sure the Disney handlers have stepped in at this point, and I'm, I can almost guarantee that Gina Carano, yeah, was the example made to a lot of people. Chris Pratt, Letitia Wright, a couple other people that are in the Disney payroll, that kind of stuff to keep their trap shut. Yeah. Yeah, Silver, exactly. So, it had to have been pretty big. I'm fairly sure she ripped some tendons and muscles, is what I'm thinking happened. 'Cause from what I heard, it was a harness incident. So, yeah. I heard, Raymond, that they found someone. It wasn't on set. They found someone dead in Morocco. It was one of the cast, or not one of the cast members, one of the crew members was found dead in Morocco. And the first thing I thought of was bad dates. I know it's a bad joke. Someone died. I realize that, but I don't know why. But Salah came to mind from the first, Raiders of the Lost Ark, and he grabs the date and bad dates. So, because the monkey was dead, but you know what I'm talking about. Yeah. Yes, Black Panther does need a sequel, Mr. Roboto. Although now that Chadwick Boseman has passed away, that's kind of hard to do that. So now the rest of the stuff is pretty much all CW stuff, but I figured there's some people that are out there that are watching. Commander, you know who you are. CW's Flash 5-part Armageddon crossover event begins November 16th. So for those of you who are watching, I'm still watching, shows here and there, but yeah, the whole crossover event starts on November 16th. So you can always watch that there. Um, News and hallways, exactly. This is actually good news, though. Superman and Lois season 2 comes back on January 11th. I'm actually really jazzed for that. A new series called Naomi from Ava DuVernay, who of course is doing another DC movie, Warner Brothers movie, also premieres on January 11th because it's tied to Superman and Lois. Supposedly, Naomi is a character who ends up getting her powers after some kind of interaction with Superman. So that's what happens there. And then finally, in Riverdale, they're going to have a 5-episode visit from Sabrina Spellman, who, of course, is played by Kernan Chipka from the Netflix series. She's going to come in for 5 episodes on Riverdale. So they're finally going to have their crossover event. So, TV. It's all TV shows, Stanley. It's all TV shows. I've never watched Riverdale. The closest I've come to watching Riverdale was I was at Comic-Con, and I was there for I was actually there for the Legion panel, which was the last panel of Comic-Con in Hall H. Finally got into Hall H, and it was during the Riverdale panel, and it was a bunch of teenage girls. I mean, crap ton of teenage girls that were there. And like I said, when the dude who played Archie came on, you could hear like all these girls just go straight into puberty as soon as it happened. They just got kickstarted. Boom, just like that. I am not reviewing Riverdale, so no. Stanley says season 1 of Sabrina was quite okay, but after I actually enjoyed Sabrina, the teenage or the chilling adventures of Sabrina, the teenage witch. I mean, sure, by the time season 3 came around, you're like, okay, you guys need to really, get on with it at this point. Yeah, Silver, it really was that. I mean, there was one like high pitched scream that happened, and then you could all just hear it. It was like a wave that just went right through the crowd. It's like, oh wow, okay. I could not continue in season 3 of Riverdale, Stanley. I thought that would be up your alley. I'm kidding. I know you're talking about Sabrina. I watched it through to the end. I watched it to the very end. So, and I was okay with it. Yeah, Silver. It was like I think I actually did plug my ears because that's how loud it was. Yeah. I completed the whole series of Sabrina. Yeah. I enjoyed it for what it was. It wasn't the worst thing I've seen in humans. Um, Agents of Shield. It really wasn't the worst thing I've seen. So Hellstrom. Yeah. So that's all the news I've got for you guys. Philip A. Demick says, I really liked the first season of Riverdale, but when they put Archie in reform school, I checked out. Archie is supposed to be the All American boy. Oh my God. Did you like Angel or Buffy more? Um, oh, you're opening up something, Raymond. So Buffy, of course, there could be no Angel without Buffy, and no Buffy without Angel, really. So yes, I liked Buffy for what it was. Angel, I really liked it, but I liked it especially more when Ben Edlin came in, I believe on season 5 is what it was. I think it was the last season Ben Edlin came in, and the Halloween episode where, the first thing that comes in is he is cleaning off his sword, and he's talking about how he had to fight the Thrakazog, and the Thrakazog is actually a tick character. It's, the tick's mucus turned sentient into a sentient being, and it's just a mucus being. Um, and that is kind of what really endeared me to that. And then also, of course, Smile Time is one of the episodes in there. So Jeremy Carver was also on board Angel at that time. And Smile Time, of course, is the puppets, um, which, of course, he recreated in Doom Patrol, in Subconscious Patrol, when they had the puppets for the Underground. So yeah, that there you go. It ties it all back together again. Mhm. So yeah, Ben Edlund is one of my favorite producers of all times. He comes in, and I call him the fixer because he fixes any show that's having shitty problems. And Supernatural, he came in, I want to say season 6, and did like a 5-season run of that and just fixed it, and that's why it went to 13 seasons. Evil puppets, exactly. Stanley says Agents isn't that bad, but Inhumans is. No, I don't try and bait people with Agents, man. You all know it's bad. I mean, it's yeah. Look, I mean, we all have shows that are bad that we watch, and we watch them anyway, even though no matter what people say. So, and I think my nose comes off exactly. All right. So I'm going to wrap things up here because, like I said, I need to go. I've got an appointment I need to get to. I want to thank everybody who joined me tonight or today, I should say, in the chat, and thank you for making it this far in the video. If you're still on the fence about subscribing, take a look at the video that pops up at the very end here. YouTube takes the algorithms of all the stuff you've been watching and tries to match it as best as possible. One of the videos in my vast video library and pops it up there just for you. And if you like what you see there, hit that subscribe button down below there. And if you can, hit that like button and the share button as well. And if you don't want to know when to be on live again, actually hit that bell down below. It's a 50, it's not a 50-50 chance. It's a no % chance of you actually getting notified by YouTube. Best thing to do is go to suspendedfanimation.com, take a look at the schedule I have up there, and all the links to my social media and my pages up there as well. Hence, I used to watch Hercules and Xena. I used to watch Cleopatra 2525. So there you go. That was a very guilty pleasure. Yeah. Yes, yes. Remember the 5th of November. Yes, I know. That's why it's called notification. Oh my God. Apple Crow, you really need to workshop that shit. Really, really. Come back in like 20 years when that actually works better. All right. With that said, I'm going to let you guys go for the rest of the day. What else do I have going on this week before I get going there? Tomorrow, most likely, is going to be spoiler alert, where you guys can talk about anything and everything, spoiler away, as long as it's out to the general public. Monday, I'll be off. Tuesday will be another episode of Is It Worth My Time? And this time around, it will be The Eternals. Wednesday, I'll be off. Thursday will be the season finale of Doom Patrol. Friday, I'll be off, and then we come back around again to Saturday morning blast off, where I take the genre news of the weekend and genre stuff you guys want to talk about. We talk about it. You are my workshop. Thanks, Apple Crow. Yeah. All right. I will let you guys go. Have a good rest of your weekend. I will most likely see you tomorrow. Until then, don't let the door hit your ass on the way out. Otherwise, you may be stuck in a Roland Emmerich movie where the moon is coming crashing down and you need to do something ridiculous in order to save it or yourselves. I don't know exactly what's going to happen, but it's a doomsday scenario anyway. Thanks, everybody. I will see you again tomorrow, most likely. Until then, stay safe, be well, take care, get those vaccine shots, get those flu shots as well, wear those masks, and stay safe out there. Thanks, everybody. Have a good rest of your day. See you tomorrow. Have a good one.